but stuff into the like relationships in today's day, it just seems so rush, and it's like people acting like, oh, they, you know what I'm saying? Like God told them, yeah, you got 2 more minutes here. Like I'm like, I don't know, y'all need to calm down.
Facts. Division, I appreciate you, bro. I'm about to drop you so I can have Sergi on the full screen. All right.
Yes, sir.
All right, bro. Thank you. Sergi, what's good, Sergi?
Hi,
How you doing today?
I'm doing all right.
Man, Sergi, you had an opportunity to hear the audio.
I did.
You've heard, you've got the opportunity to hear a lot of things that people came up here and said. We're gonna get right into it. So, first, true or false statement, Sergi. Being and staying 100% compatible with someone does not exist. True or false?
That's false.
How is it false?
So, I think sometimes we mistake compatibility with the ideal that we will 100% agree all the time. We can be compatible, we can be close, we can get along, we can connect on that level and still have areas where we may disagree or see things differently. Because disagreement doesn't always mean that you believe something is true and I believe it's false. We may just have two routes in which we reach the same goal or decision, right? So I think in healthy relationships, reach the same goal or decision, right? So I think in healthy relationships, you can recognize that the compatibility is not impacted because that's what we utilize to grow one another and to help each other progress. To see the world from many different not impacted because that's what we utilize to grow one another and to help each other progress. To see the world from many different perspectives and not just one dimensionally.
I hear what you're saying,
Wrong?
but one 100% though.
Uh-huh.
All right, hey, if you're gonna stand on what you're saying, then so be it.
Uh-huh.
So second true or false statement.
Hey,
Most women are only loyal to their feelings and not to a man's sacrifices. True or false?
can it be both?
No, because it's not both.
Okay, let me state my position and
All right,
then if it's impossible.
all right.
So I think individually as humans, there's a self-preservation that exists in all of us, in all of us, right? So when we reach situations that we see where we're being depleted, we're not being poured into, our mental health is being impacted, our emotions are impacted, even physical health is impacted. There's a level of self-preservation that exists to which you have to default to your own survival. That doesn't mean or negate from the fact that if you love somebody completely, that you'll still maybe sacrifice for a period of time, right, to ensure that maybe their needs are met, that you show appreciation, whatever they need or whatever they want, you'll try to meet that. But if there's some type of impasse where there's a conflict that's not founded in any type of solution, right? We can't find a way to fix it. I have to then default to how do I feel in this moment? Because I think when we talk about emotions, we relegate them to, well, today I'm sad. Right now I'm upset. Very in very elementary terms. But when I think we talk about the end of a relationship, it's so much deeper than that. People may be hitting points in which they feel miserable and depressed, and not because of one thing at one time, but years of this feeling. And I think it happens for both men and women. What I will say is men will endure a lot. I've seen a lot of unhappy husbands who won't leave, but they'll unalive themselves. They'll leave, or their health will be so bad that they leave and unalive anyway. So I think in the end, when it becomes that detrimental, there's always going to be the the answer of did I do enough? I think most people who divorce sometimes will question that if they were really invested. But I think we have to stop having that conversation in very elementary terms and understand what people go through in marriage.
So Sergi, so you and I, if I said that between men and women, that women are more so emotionally inclined, you would agree with me on that, right?
hmm I think we're emotionally inclined, but I think we're in a society or in a world where women are allowed that. I don't think it's that men don't have these emotions. I don't think it's that men sometimes don't want to go. But I think because we are raised in a way in which we are fostered through that in some capacities, um, we'll reach, and especially now, because it didn't used to always be like that, right? People used to stay in marriage, period. But I think now, because there's been so much recognition and, speaking on mental health, and then women do have somewhat of a liberation in that they work now. They have the financial means to leave. They're more apt to do so because of how we are taught in terms of your emotions and emotional health and emotional stability in some ways. And I think for a lot of men, they probably would, but men's emotions aren't fostered in that same way.
Okay, so if you and I both agree that women are very much more so emotionally inclined, and um, I'll even go as far as to the extent to say that a lot of women do really live off of their emotion. And you acknowledged I was going to ask you,
Mm,
uh, I was going to ask you about men, and yeah, there may be times where they're unhappy, there may be times where they're unsatisfied, but if I said between men and women, which of them are more likely to want to leave a relationship simply for being unhappy or unsatisfied? Would you say men or women? And is it even close in comparison?
I'll say the data is inconclusive. I think there are people. I gotta speak it the way I do research, right? So
Sergi,
mm,
Sergi,
let me state the point, the position though, and why I say this. How we respond is not necessarily how we feel. I think men, like I said, if I'm honest and I speak about societal factors, y'all are taught to take a lot. Y'all will take a lot of abuse and never go, right? Cut to another side of it. Not that a lot of women don't take a lot of bad or abuse, but more than not, we are taught to overcome it and separate from it, right? So I think that there are some, and I'm speaking strictly about bad marriages. There are many situations I think in which if a man felt free to do so and speak on how he really felt, um, or felt comfortable in verbalizing or was even taught how to verbalize it, you would probably see a lot of commonalities. And if they were at that point which they feel like they could verbalize it, they probably would reach the point where they would also say, this marriage is not good. It's not healthy. My chest is hurting. My blood pressure is up. I need to go. They probably would.
Sergi, you and I both know that women are the people that are more so going to leave a relationship or a marriage simply for being unhappy or unsatisfied, and it's night and day. We know, especially the woman in this audio and what we've been talking about, men being quote unquote good men.
Mm-hmm.
If a man has a quote unquote good woman, even if he's unhappy for whatever reason in the relationship at the current
Mm-hmm.
moment, even if she's if he's unsatisfied in certain aspects of the relationship at the moment,
Mm-hmm.
I think 8, 9 out of 10 men are actually going to sit down with that woman and say, "Hey, babe, like I'm unhappy. I'm unhappy with what's going on in this relationship right now." He's gonna
Mm-hmm.
specify areas that he's unhappy in. He's gonna
Mm-hmm.
specify where where he's being unsatisfied, and he's actually going to try to make it work. We know that 50% of marriages in this 50 something percent of marriages in this country are failing. We know
Right.
70 something percent of women are filing for divorces. We
Mm-hmm.
know that one of the top reasons that women are filing for divorces is irreconcilable differences.
Mm-hmm.
So if this man is a good man, this man is a man that gets up, goes to work, pays bills, provides for the household, provides for the family, and simply because you're unhappy at the moment or unsatisfied about certain things, if you feel that that's a legitimate reason for women to leave, or if you think that like men are gonna do, most men are not doing that to women. Women are doing that to men a lot.
Okay. So I have to address a few points of that though. So okay. Like I said, I don't think when I think of marriage, and I separate it from people who function in a healthy manner just individually, and those who have healthy marriages, and then you have the bad ones, and then just dysfunctional all the way around. Most functional people, it's not going to be a one day I felt sad and I don't want to do this anymore, or I just don't like you. There's a myriad of things that are going to happen over time to create whatever this feeling is, and for some people there may be issues like we know it's financial was always a number one. You have domestic violence, which is a factor, and then it can just be that incompatibility that may arise. Sorry. So with those factors, we have to understand that none of us knows what happens inside of a marriage. Only the two people do. So there are many things that we won't know about. But if we just go to those hard numbers that you related to us, 50% of people are divorcing, and then you have 70% of women filing. Irreconcilable differences is just listed, right? But they list that in cases of domestic violence. They list that in some cases where fidelity has occurred, but that may not be the ending result of the divorce, right? So you never know the full picture of a marriage by just saying that. It doesn't just mean that we didn't agree one day. It means that something of some level of severity has occurred in which this marriage is no longer happy or functional and healthy. When people say happy, it's not just, oh, I'm smiling today. No, it's do I dread coming home? Am I sitting in the parking lot or in my driveway for an hour before I step into the door? That has another level of impact than I don't think I like you today. That can happen, but I don't think that's why people are divorcing. You have those outliers, the strange situations where, well, yeah, I was just marrying you for your money anyway. That's different. But people who are really invested in marriage, they're not going to divorce because one day I was not happy.
All right. Do you think a couple becoming incompatible is a legitimate reason to leave a relationship? And if so, to what extent like do they need to become incompatible for you to say, okay, this is valid. You wanting to leave now is valid.
Okay. It depends on how you're defining your incompatibility, right? Because I do believe for some people marriage counseling works. It does work. It's sometimes just a poor communication, and that's where this incompatibility is stemming from. Then you have those who when they got married for the wrong reason anyway, and the incompatibility just grew. So it didn't just happen, it's been happening, and they probably should not have gotten married. And then for others, it's just the expiration on this relationship. And I know that for many, for better or for worse, that's what marriage is about. And you work on it and you work on it. But I think what people are doing is they're reflecting on what they've seen. Like for me, I hear people talk about the older generation all the time. I got to see grandparents who were unhappily married for a number of years. I got to see dysfunctionality even in the older people, right? Because you know how you don't learn things until you get, grown, and then some of the family stuff people start to let you in on. And a lot of these older people were miserable. Yeah, they were together for 60 years, and then some of the family stuff people start to let you in on. And a lot of these older people were miserable. Yeah, they were together for 60 years, and these uncles that you never met, it's like that. I think people have seen some of these examples, and then you have this change or shift where people are like, you know what, it's better to live healthy and alone than to just try to wear marriage like it's some kind of badge and accomplishment, because it's no accomplishment if people in it are miserable and it's unhealthy and people are sick and they're finding ways to work more hours just because they don't want to see your face. And I don't even sleep in the same bed as my husband anymore, right? You got some married couples have separate rooms. That's not what marriage is supposed to be, but they'll keep it just for the sake of saying I'm married and I stayed married.
Yeah.
So is it about just being married or is it about having a healthy one?
But again, that goes that again. So marriage or relationship, you like again, like I was telling the vision, you've been married before, you know
Mm-hmm.
it's not going to be the not always going to be the honeymoon phase.
Mm-mm.
It's not always going to be like when we first met and when we first started talking and we were first dating.
Oh,
That energy that was there, those immaculate vibes, that's not what it's going to be. A
mhm.
relationship is going to be like real life itself. It's going to be ups and downs. It's going to be peaks and valleys. But if you make a commitment to someone, like you stood up on the altar and said, "Till death do us part,"
Mhm.
in for better or for worse, for rich or for poor, health, sickness. So if you make that commitment, stand on that commitment that you made. Otherwise, if we're just gonna be like, well, listen, this has ran its course. I'm about to go do something else with someone else. What guarantee do you have that the next situation is going to be better than the current situation? It's the whole thinking the grass is greener on the other side thing. Like, who's to say that the next woman that you're going to be with is going to love you and care about you and be just as compassionate towards you as your last woman, and vice versa? Who's to say that?
So Noble, would you want your wife to say, "Well, I'm gonna go ahead and stay married to you because I don't even know if the grass is gonna be greener on the other side"? And well, I did promise God I'm gonna go ahead and stick with it. If I didn't have to make those promises, I'd have been going.
Listen, if my wife really loves me, whatever situation, if she really loves and cares about me and wants to be with me,
Mm-hmm.
we're going to work through whatever it is that we got going on.
But
We gonna see it through.
that's nice.
If we don't want to be with each other, then we're not gonna see it through. We're gonna throw
But
the towel in.
I get it, and I do believe that there are some marriages where that's the case. Like it's just a hump. It's just a thing. But then you got some of those where it's like, and it doesn't always start this way. I think, like we said, time over time, because we're talking about 10, 20 years, people change, things change, and you have all of these dynamics. And for a lot of people over time, it's like you may have tried to work it and that therapy didn't work. Us trying to communicate didn't work. The life coach didn't work. Are we still going to try to sit in this?
No, and that's what I said, Sergi. But what we cannot do, we cannot just skip over trying to have a conversation between us first and see
Mhm.
if we change behavior. Let's really exhaust all options before we call it quits.
I believe in that
If
though. And I'm not
we
speaking. I believe in that. I believe when it's healthy and when it's right to do that. I'm speaking about those situations that everybody ignores because sometimes people have a false sense of what marriages look like, especially if they haven't been in one or been in a bad one. And I'm just saying for people, because I know I don't know what everybody's marriage looks like. So all you can do is take it at face value. But I know that a lot of people that are married, they don't tell you everything that's going on. They may not tell you that this partner, had a child with somebody else. They may not tell you that she's pregnant with somebody else's child. There's a lot of married secrets that you will never know. And you never know what people have endured or what they've worked on. So I just don't like to talk about it as though people are just divorcing all willy nilly and they didn't try because that's not always the case. Like, even for my situation, I'm divorced, but I had domestic violence. You'll have some people who have those situations where it's really not something to work through, it's not something to stick out, you know? And that's men and women. So I think it's just, I speak for those outlying cases where they didn't throw in the towel easily, but it was time to go. It was volatile.
But like I said earlier, Sergi, I said there are certain things that like nine out of 10 people is gonna say like, don't work through that. Don't try to work through that. Domestic violence is one of them. Verbal and physical abuse, like we not co-signing that. Like
Hmm.
even cheating. I think 8 out of 10 people is not gonna co-sign cheating, even within a marriage. Even if you got a family, y'all got kids, break the family up. Like we not co-signing that. Like there's certain things that we're not going to co-sign, but we like while like I know you said I don't think people is just getting divorced willy nilly like that, and
You know
you know
how
you
work
you
goes on.
might be right. You might be right, but Sergi, you might be right, but we
Yes.
can acknowledge that there are people that aren't really trying to put in any effort to try to like make it work and see it
Mm.
through. And we have acknowledged that women are very emotional. We have acknowledged that women would more so be the people to do that.
Mhm.
And Hey, it is what it is. But
Yeah.
okay, last true or false statement.
Okay.
Most modern women, okay, modern keywords, modern women. Most modern women have no contentment in relationships these days. True or false?
Ooh. I don't know. I guess
Ugh.
I have to. Okay, contentment and relate. Well, from what I see, everybody's saying people aren't even getting in relationships anymore. So I don't know what people are doing. I think, I'll say this: people who have navigated dating appropriately and are with people that they're compatible with, or equally yoked with, or are not trying to date based on these weird, outlandish standards, are happy. It's only the miserable people are the one that's the ones that speak the loudest. So sometimes that can overtake the whole narrative anyway. But I think people who are dating right are happy.
Sergi,
Hmm?
back to answer my question, Sergi.
So the
Do
modern what?
most modern women do not have contentment in relationships these days?
How do
True
you?
or false?
I work with numbers. How do we measure modern women? So what? Like working women? Because I work. I'm happy.
Sergi,
What is it?
Sergi, why are you trying to make it seem like you don't know what I'm trying to say?
No, I'm
Sergi,
honest.
let me explain it to you like this.
Hmm.
Are we living in a day and age where a lot of women easily get bored with the men that they're in relationships with and think that they have a lot more options when it comes to men than they really do?
You mean like dating silly? I don't even like to align that with women because I think grown women are mature enough to know how to act in dating and relationships, but you have a lot of little girls who will perpetuate all these strange narratives and, well, if he doesn't do this and give me this, then he's not going to do this, and you got to do this for me to date. I don't even look at grown women that way. The women that I'm around and that I consider grown women, we happy and we work. We're modern. We're not considered traditional in that we're expecting somebody to um, completely be the breadwinner and fully financially provide. If that's what you want, that's cool, but we would be considered modern women who work, but we don't have that mindset. So I don't consider that mindset to be what a grown woman would project.
Sergi, I just need a true or false, ma'am. I just need a true.
False, because I'm modern.
All right, y'all. She said false. She said
Mm-hmm.
false.
I work, sir. I work.
So you think so again, so you categorize, women that are moving like that and saying some of these things. You don't categorize them as women. You categorize them as little girls.
Yeah, because we know good and well how healthy functional relationships work. It's not even about 50-50. It's 100, 100. Sometimes it may be 0, 100 because it's an ebb and flow to healthy relationships. And there may be times where you have to care for the person more than they're able to care for you. And you do have to sacrifice in relationships that are healthy, but it's about investing and wanting to love someone how they need, like the young lady said earlier, and also not coming from it from a selfish approach. But how can I, meet this person's needs and make them happy? And when it's reciprocal, you're also being poured into, so you don't feel slighted. And so everything flows evenly and it flows in the right direction. That's how grown people do, grown men and grown women. So, no, pause.
Y'all, I won't lie to y'all. Like 99% of the time, I've agreed with a lot of things that Sergi said, but I don't know what she got going on this Saturday afternoon, y'all. I don't know if she has something to drink. I don't know if she had something to drink earlier today. I don't know. This is not typical Sergi behavior, y'all.
Uh-uh.
I'm low key disappointed. She always come up here, she give it up, she be speaking facts, but today I don't know, y'all.
It's okay to disagree. No, but we ain't got to agree all the time.
I was not expecting this, y'all. Noble, the feminist got to the feminists and the womanists have brainwashed Sergi, y'all. this is sad. This is a sad day. This is a sad day.
Ooh,
This is a sad day, y'all. Someone said she ate. All right. I don't think she ate today, man. I don't think she ate today, but it's all good though. It's all love. Look, sometimes you have a bad game, and I think Serge just had a bad game today. She didn't shoot the ball well from the field today. It's okay.
No.
She'll rebound. She'll be better next game.
No, Sergi's just representing individualism, right? We know that we're not all, of one shared mind. So we're going to have different perspectives on different topics.
Someone said she turned down the flake. She sure did turn down the flake. She sure did turn down the flake. But nah, Sergi, I appreciate you. I appreciate you coming up here. It's all love. Like I said, I did. This is the first time where I damn near disagree with everything you said, but like you said, we can agree to disagree. It's all respect. Yeah. It's all love.
It's cool.
On a Saturday afternoon, yes, Rebel. On a Saturday afternoon, I'm a busy man these days. This is the only time I had to get on here, and I'm about to get off too. I've been on here for like 2 hours.
Oh Lord, let me go.
Short and quick. I told y'all I was on here for a good time, not a long time. Sergi, Miss Kanal, why you say Sergi's name in the comments? Hey, Sergi, hey, Miss Kanal, Sergi always be on point, but today she wasn't on point today, man. I don't know what happened.
Yes.
I know. Look, she just had a birthday. Happy birthday, Sergi, by the way. We Capricorn gang. I don't know if she just had a birthday. I don't know if she been drinking a lot, but
I don't drink, Noble. You know I don't drink.
Nappy, I see you in here. But dang, I missed it. I had to work today. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I gotta go.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe she stayed up late. Maybe she stayed up late last night. And she hasn't got the proper rest, but she'll rebound, y'all. Next time y'all see me, Sergi gonna be talking on point, and everything's gonna be good. Sergi, blink twice if you're not safe from the feminine.
Oh.
Y'all remember Sergi had to mute. Sergi had to mute and say something to someone real quick. I think that was one of them feminists. They was telling her like, listen, I think they might have had a weapon pointed at her while she was talking. Like, so she had to say what they wanted her to say. It's all good. I get it. I understand.
No, Sergi's the modern woman. How people define it. So, like I said.
But Sergi, let's look really quick before we leave.
Mm-hmm.
So, Soso said working is not considered modern. She said Black women been working from the beginning of time. So working isn't necessarily considered modern.
Yeah, I said how people define it. Typically when I hear the conversations, when we separate traditional from modern, we're thinking of traditional values, the man being the breadwinner, the financial provider for the home, the woman being the homemaker staying home. That's how I'm speaking in terms of modern and traditional. Just more simple base terms. So that wouldn't be what it would look like for me, because I would be a financial contributor to my household. So
I feel it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just her being another child in the house. I'm not really understanding what you're saying. I guess
it means not being taken care of, like you're an extra.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, not being a dependent. Okay.
I guess everybody may define it differently too. I don't know.
Yeah, some people may define it differently, but I think there's a general consensus. I think, like you said, I think most of the time when these conversations are being had, when people are talking about traditional and modern, I think people are more so thinking in the light that you just described. Yeah. It's all good, Top Fit. It's all good. But Sergi, I appreciate you coming on here as always. Much respect, much love. I hope you have a great Saturday. I am about to get off of here, and I'm not coming back on later. So y'all gonna have to. Brandon, are you going live today?